to try to be more professional on our end this time. I'm making sure all my tabs are muted.
How about I just turn your fader down?
Thank you.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly? We'll figure it out. Joining us from the Athletic, the victorious. I like to think he won the game.
Yep.
Matt Barrows. Good morning, Matt.
No?
Yep.
Oh, there you are.
Good morning,
yes.
Matt.
Yeah, it's an odd delay here.
Yeah. Oh, you have a delay on your end?
No, I see you okay.
What about Jason?
Jason looks great, as always.
Thank you,
It's
Matt.
Dave that I always worry about.
Yeah.
Dave? And well, you should. Matt, what I want to know is what is Juwan Jennings saying to everybody that is making them very angry at him? Do we have any background?
I don't know. All I know is that Juwan Jennings' teammates sort of marvel at the transformation he goes through pre-game. Like it's like werewolf like transformation. You go into a dark place, and apparently his is darker than most. And several teammates have commented on that. I'd love to do a story about that. I just don't know if it's something that anyone can really articulate. You know what I mean? You're preparing for a game. You're preparing for battle in a way. So you take yourself to, like I said, a really dark place, and for the next 3 hours, you live in that dark place. So I think that kind of explains, goes a long way toward explaining why Juwan Jennings is routinely, reliably involved in these types of things.
Yeah, it seemingly works for him, but Dave, I'm with you. I'm curious as to what he's saying because, I mean, Matt, it's not that common for people after a game to go out of their way to spotlight a player and basically say, I want this known that this guy is this, and I think that just leaves us all curious as to what's really going on.
Yeah, you're right, because there was no kind of physical altercation like there was with the Panthers, but obviously Jennings said something that was so remarkable that they had to remark.
Yeah.
I love how he said though it was what's his name, Shelby, whoever. And he said Shelby Harris. Thank you. And he said he says stuff that you just don't say to another man. And so, of course, I'm like trying to think, God, what could, because it's not like there's not trash talk in the NFL. It's not like it's not crazy sometimes the stuff you hear. But for somebody to go so over the top that one guy punches you in the junk and then the next guy goes on a rant after the game, maybe you should write a book or something on it, like a little book on how to get into people's heads. I want you to do that. Matt, Jason, do you agree? I think that'd be a fascinating article. I would read the heck out of that, Matt.
Something that you don't say to a man. I mean, he must have said something like, Godfather 3 is the best Godfather.
Oh.
That's like a man thing.
Great. Shawshank Redemption was a terrible movie.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. There you go.
Oh,
it has to be something like totally outlandish like that.
Bolo ties, greater than signed bow ties.
Wow. Said nobody.
I love fruitcake at Christmas.
So we talked last week about the Niners' history in Cleveland, especially as of late. They've got Shedeur Sanders, the Browns did, under center, and I guess a tiny eensy bit of momentum. And the first half, look, there were a lot of Niner fans, myself included, going, oh, God, here we go again. The ball's flying sideways. The final score is going to be like 15-4 or something stupid. And then that second half, they just woke up 16-0, shut them out. What was the big difference between the two halves other than the scoring for you, Matt?
Well, I think that the second half actually began with 39 seconds to go in the first half. That the fact that Cleveland scored and they got the 2-point conversion, and you kind of felt the momentum shifting to the Browns, and they were running the ball really well. So with a lead, if you're a 49ers backer, you're worried that, okay, all the Browns really have to do is continue to run the ball because the 49ers aren't stopping them. But The 49ers engineered a quick drive at the end there, and it got to, I think Purdy had incompletions on the first 2 passes, and it was 3rd and long, and he hits Pearsall for a first down, then he hits Jennings for a first down, and then he throws basically the only deep ball of the game for the 49ers, and they're going into the wind, which is a significant wind, and George Kittle comes up with the ball, and they kick a field goal, and it barely goes in, but it kind of takes away that Browns momentum and gives the 49ers the lead, and they just kind of roll with it from that point forward. I think they did a better job against the run in the second half. And then once they get up, that's sort of been their formula, is that I don't think that they're a very good team against the run, which is usually such a basic flaw. It's a fatal flaw. But if they can get up on these teams, which they did via special teams and a couple of really big offensive plays, then that that compels the opponent to throw the ball more, and that's how the 49ers have managed to really get run on in these last 2 games. I think Rico Dowdle had over 6 yards a carry for the Panthers on Monday, and Quinshon Judkins had 4, and Dylan Sampson was over 5 for the Browns. So usually you see that and you're like, oh, gee, the 49ers must have lost, but they didn't. So it's an uncommon formula that they're winning with, and you wonder if they face a playoff-bound team or a team in the playoffs, whether they can kind of keep that up. I think the Browns being the Browns and the Panthers being the Panthers were big reasons why the 49ers won those 2 games. But, that's how I would say they did it in this most recent one.
Talking with Matt Barrows from The Athletic, of course, brought to you by Stockton Honda. Matt, I know in the years past we've talked to you and Kyle Shanahan. It doesn't seemingly make special teams a priority, but you did bring that up. I think between Sky Moore's big return, the botched punt that Cleveland had, it certainly was a factor. Their kicking game this year has been pretty good. How instrumental do you think that has actually been for this year's squad?
Yeah, huge. I mean, just look at the contrast between this year and last year. This year, the special teams is helping you win games, and last year it was absolutely helping them lose games. It's been something that Kyle Shanahan has never really been able to rely on outside of the field goal kicking. That's been really good at times with Robbie Gould, and the punting and the kicking has been good, adequate to very good. It's been the return stuff and the coverage portions that have been just terrible, and consistently so since 2017. And it's something that they can now, I don't want to say rely on, but I mean, it was definitely part of their game plan in this game. Don't turn the ball over and get big plays on special teams, and that'll help set us up. And part of what I was just describing, that, okay, the defense doesn't have to be aces in this game, but if the offense is efficient and the special teams delivers, we can do this. Hats off to Brant Boyer, the new special teams coordinator. He came in for the first, maybe 6 games. It looked a little like, previous seasons. And then something happened around the midpoint of the year where they just tightened up in every regard. And Sky Moore is part of that. Luke Gifford, number 57, is probably the captain of that unit, along with Sharon Neal, number 33. Both those guys show up each time, and you can just see from the body language that there's an energy and a cohesion among that group that you just haven't seen in the recent past here.
Matt Barrows with us. John Lynch strikes again. Cleveland Ferrell, and close your ears, Raider fans, but he comes in for his second stint with the Niners, gets 2 sacks yesterday, and you look at him now. He's had I think 5 games. This is his 5th game with the Niners. He is a half a sack away from his career high, which was his rookie year at 4.5. You got the draft picks, Upton Stout and Malik Mustafa up there when it came to tackles. And then the other sack, 3 on the day, Keon White, another midseason pickup. So they're getting help from some unlikely sources. It's turning out quite nice.
Yeah, think of these mid-year pickups that they've had. I mean, Sky Moore was, not on this team in training camp.
Yeah.
Eddie Pinheiro was not on this team in training camp. Matt Gay was not on this team in training camp. And all of these guys are delivering for the 49ers. So some good pickups. I mean, that's what you need to have when you have such an injured team like the 49ers. If you're going to be good, then the guys who come in have to be almost as good. And you saw that Mac Jones is the perfect example of that. So, that's really why the 49ers are where they are, because the backups were good choices and they rose to the occasion when they had to. So, that's a theme for this season for sure. And I'm not sure there's been another season like that where you can say, oh, yeah, Matt Hennessy came in at center for Jake Brendel for a couple of days and played really, really well. Oh, yeah, Kendrick Bourne, he wasn't even on the team in week one. And right now is leading the wide receivers still, even though he doesn't have a single catch in the last 3 games. He still leads the wide receivers in receiving yards.
Matt, I remember when the schedule came out, I thought, man, that's a really late bye week for these guys. But now that we've gotten here, even with all the injuries they've had, like what do you think the benefit will be this week to not have a game, to maybe get a few more guys some healthier days here? What do you think the benefit is this late in the year of this?
Yeah, I think the most obvious one is that you've got a couple of 49ers, Tatum Bethune, who probably would have to miss the game if it were this Sunday instead of a bye. He gets another week to come back, and I think that's going to be a big deal. He and Yetur Gross-Matos, I think, have the best chances of playing again right after the bye. So there's that. I can guarantee you there are, a dozen guys that really, really need this bye. I think that D. Winters has been sort of playing through some smaller things. He hasn't shown quite the pop that he did early in the season. I think he's going to benefit a lot from it. I think that there is a risk, though, and Kyle Shanahan has acknowledged it, is that they're sort of on a roll now, and they are, mowing over teams that are starting to sputter in December. They felt that against the Carolina Panthers. They felt like they were the more physical team, the better conditioned team. So there's a risk, I think, in getting away from that, losing that momentum. It's December now. You have a week off. You don't want your body to sort of go into hibernation. You're rolling right now. So that'll be an interesting decision for Kyle Shanahan. What to do during this bye, what to tell his players to do during the bye. Because, sometimes there is a risk that you come out of the bye and you're a little bit groggy. The 49ers have been really, really good after byes. But, I mean, I don't remember one this late at all. And most have been around midseason. And I've always thought that was sort of recompensed by the league for the fact that the 49ers usually have to travel a lot further. The 49ers, Rams, Seahawks go, 30,000 miles sometimes, whereas the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals go sometimes 3,000 miles. So there's a discrepancy in travel, and I always thought, okay, midseason bye is the way you sort of balance that. They did not get that this year, so it'll be fascinating to watch. They do get the Tennessee Titans coming out of the bye, which is like a bye and a half in a way. So we'll see how that goes, but it's going to be how they utilize it.
Matt Barrows with us. I wasn't going to ask this. I have a real question, but you just kind of brought that to the back of my head, front of my head with the whole Cleveland thing. I forgot. Did they do their seeming-ish tradition? Did they do the Youngstown, Ohio stopover type of thing this time?
No, they didn't. They only do that if there are back-to-back East Coast games, and then in addition to that, a a good place to stay. So I don't think that they want to go back to Greenbrier in West Virginia, for example.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think that they want to go back to Youngstown, Ohio, because last time they did that was 2019, and they had to practice on turf, and D Ford got a little gimpy during the practices, and this, that, and the other. So I think it's IMG or bust for them from here on out.
Well, and to your point about the schedule, you're right. It is kind of a buy and a half with the Titans. But this is why you never look at schedules before the season starts, because I don't think any of us necessarily had this. They finish out at home against the Bears and Seahawks, but at the Colts, who are sputtering a little bit. That being said, they're finishing at home against two teams tied for the best record in the NFC as of right now. I think maybe we thought the Seahawks would be tough, but I don't know that anybody saw the Colts, Bears, and Seahawks finishing out as a murderer's row of the NFL, but here we are.
They hosted the Bears last year, and it was the only real laugher of the year for the 49ers.
Yeah.
The Bears were terrible in that game, and it gave the 49ers some hope down the stretch that, hey, if we can play like this, the rest of the way, we could do some damage, and they didn't. But yeah, the Bears look real right now. They run the ball really well. So what I was saying earlier about really the 49ers have not shown an ability to shut down a team's running game. It's really been the offense and the special teams that have kind of taken opponents out of that. The Bears will be a really good test. The Seahawks will be a really good test as well. The Colts will be a good test. I mean, Colts have, one of the three best running backs in the NFL. So yeah, the 49ers have this weakness, this glaring weakness that they've been able to sort of get around. But for me, this home stretch will be whether that comes back to bite them.
Matt, I know that maybe even like a week or two ago, it felt like, they could still be a playoff team, maybe a wild card team. Division is kind of sliding away, but a pleasant surprise yesterday with the Rams losing in Carolina. Seattle continues to win, but there's still a shot here with this division. Was that a surprise to you yesterday that opening, they kind of that gift that they got with that Rams loss?
Yeah, I mean, after watching the Panthers, I thought that there was no chance for that. But yeah, I mean, and the Seahawks and Rams play each other, so there are opportunities for more losses for those teams. And the lesson we learned from, what year was it? 2021, when the 49ers were just at the beginning of the season. Then they caught fire right at the right time, and they went through the playoffs and nearly beat the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, and they would have played the Bengals. Anyway, it's about how you're playing at a given moment. And I think this has been George Kittle's theme, is that we're getting a little healthier each week. If we can get hot at the right time, then that's everything. And I think getting hot now means that you have a shot at the division. You have a shot at a bye to begin the playoffs. Which may or may not be a good thing. I don't think that was a great thing for the 49ers in 2023 in hindsight. But we'll see. All things are still on the table for the 49ers, which is pretty incredible given everything that they've been through this season.
Last thing for you, Matt. They were, his Dougieing aside. Brock Purdy is still fighting through the turf toe, and they had a close-up on his foot at one point. You could see he's kind of banging it into the ground and moving it around a little bit. They also remarked how he doesn't have a piece of metal in there to kind of help protect it. Is he just going to be week to week for the rest of the year is what they're thinking? It seems like they're playing it fast and loose with him, but it's they got to have him in there.
Yeah, I don't think it affected him on his runs.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Brock Purdy is that he doesn't have a big arm. And so he's a lower body thrower. He's a guy that plants his feet in the turf. He's got really strong legs. He's got, good, torso movement. That's how he generates velocity. So if any part of that equation, and your big toe is a big part of that equation, is compromised, I just don't think that you're going to be able to throw as well, and certainly as hard as you normally would have. So I think that's sort of the question. And so you wonder about some of these balls that seem to float or seem to soar on him, whether the toe is part of that. And he's not going to say anything now. This is going to be a locker room clean out day type of story. It's like, Brock, hey, now that the season's over, can you share with us, how that toe affected you and in what ways did the toe affect you? And I can almost guarantee you he's going to say something like, yeah, it affected me. I felt it the whole season. And really on certain throws, that was where I felt it the most. So that's going to be either a mid-January or an early February storyline, I think, for the 49ers.
Matt Barrows covers the 49ers for The Athletic, has done it for a very, very long time. Nobody more connected than him. Check out his work at The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter as well. And we'll talk to you we'll do our little bye conversation
next
I
week,
guess.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you next week, Matt.
Yeah, they have the old bonus practice on Monday. There's got to be some meat on that bonus practice.
I think so. And Thanksgiving leftovers factors in perfect.
There you go.
Matt, appreciate you. Have a great week.
Matt.
Thank you.
All right. You guys.
Take care. One note, by the way, Myles Garrett, who had a couple sacks yesterday. So he is up to 19
He's going to break the record, isn't he?
The NFL sacks record is shared by T.J. Watt and Michael Strahan at 22.5. So he's got, 7 games to get 3.5 sacks, something like that? However the hell many they've played. That's ridiculous. 5 games, sorry.
Yeah.
If he doesn't break the record, it would be a shock.
Yeah, it would be.
He's really good.
Get him out of there.
We'll take a break. When we come back, What's on Deck? Brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing. We'll clean a few things up before we get to Crosstalk with Alan Stiles and